February 18, 1992. Calcutta, India. 5:30 a.m. Princess Diana knelt beside Mother Teresa in the narrow corridors of the home for the dying, both women working quietly to comfort patients who had been abandoned by the world. This wasn't Diana's official royal visit. That would come later in the day with cameras and protocol. This was their private time together, a secret friendship that had been growing for 2 years through encrypted letters and coded messages. What these two women were planning together would revolutionize how the world approached poverty, disease, and human dignity. But their collaboration had to remain hidden because what they intended to expose would threaten powerful institutions on both sides of the globe. The most shocking part wasn't their secret friendship. It was the global conspiracy they uncovered together and the plan they developed to fight it. Diana's connection with Mother Teresa started in 1990, not through official diplomatic channels, but through a random encounter that changed both their lives. Diana was visiting a London AIDS hospice when she met Dr. Priscilla Singh, a volunteer doctor who had previously worked with Mother Teresa in Calcutta. Dr. Singh was blown away by Diana's natural compassion and her willingness to physically comfort patients that others were afraid to touch. "Your Royal Highness," Dr. Singh said after watching Diana spend an hour holding the hand of a dying patient, "you remind me of someone I worked with in India. She has the same fearlessness about human suffering." "Who is that?" Diana asked. "Mother Teresa. She always says that we can't all do great things, but we can do small things with great love. That's what I saw you doing today." That evening, Diana wrote her first letter to Mother Teresa, not as a princess seeking a photo op, but as one human being reaching out to another, who understood the calling to serve those society had forgotten. "Dear Mother Teresa, I hope you don't mind getting a letter from a stranger. Dr. Singh tells me you dedicate your life to caring for people that the world has abandoned. I find myself drawn to similar work, but I struggle with how to be authentic in my service when everything I do is watched and often misunderstood. How do you maintain pure intention when the world is always watching?" Mother Teresa's response, written in her distinctive handwriting, arrived 3 weeks later. "Dear Princess Diana, God has given you a platform that reaches millions. Don't see this as a burden, but as an opportunity to show the world what love looks like in action. Come to Calcutta when you can travel without ceremony. We will work together, and you will understand your true calling. Your sister in service, Mother Teresa." This began a correspondence that lasted 5 years and included over 200 letters between the two women. But more importantly, it started a collaboration that would go way beyond personal friendship. Diana made her first secret visit to Calcutta in November 1990, traveling under the identity of Sarah Williams, the same fake name she would later use for her NHS undercover work. She spent 5 days working alongside Mother Teresa in the missionaries of charity homes, experiencing poverty and human suffering on a scale she had never imagined. "Diana was totally transformed by that first visit," said Sister Luke, one of Mother Teresa's longtime assistants. "She arrived as a princess, trying to understand her purpose. She left as a woman who had found her mission." During those 5 days, Diana and Mother Teresa had long conversations about the nature of poverty, the responsibility of wealth, and the systems that kept human suffering going. These conversations revealed that both women had been thinking about similar questions from different angles. "Mother Teresa opened my eyes to something I had never considered," Diana later wrote in her private journal. "Poverty isn't just about lack of money. It's about lack of dignity, lack of voice, lack of hope. And often, the systems that claim to help actually keep going the powerlessness they're supposed to fix." Mother Teresa, in turn, was fascinated by Diana's insights into how wealth and privilege worked. "Princess, you understand the world of power in ways that could serve the powerless," she told Diana during one of their late-night conversations. "But first you must understand how that power works against the poor." This mutual education led to what they privately called the Dignity Project, an ambitious plan to expose and reform the international systems that kept global poverty going while enriching those who claimed to be fighting it. Over the next year, through their continued correspondence and Diana's secret visits to India, The two women developed a sophisticated understanding of what they called poverty maintenance, the ways that charitable organizations, international aid programs, and even religious institutions sometimes benefited from keeping poverty visible but never actually solving it. We realized that there was an entire industry built around poverty, Diana explained in a sealed letter she wrote to William and Harry, to be opened after her death. Organizations that needed poor people to stay poor in order to continue fundraising, governments that used aid programs to control other countries, even some religious groups that used suffering as a way to show off their own virtue. Mother Teresa had seen this from the ground level: aid programs that created dependency rather than empowerment, charity organizations that spent more on administration than on actual help, and international policies that kept developing nations in debt while appearing to offer assistance. Diana brought a different perspective. She had seen how wealthy individuals and institutions used charitable giving as a way to maintain their social status and tax benefits, while never addressing the root causes of the problems they claimed to care about. Together, they developed what they called the 3 pillars of true service. Pillar 1, direct action without middlemen. Work directly with those in need, bypassing organizations that might filter, control, or profit from the help. Pillar 2, address root causes, not just symptoms. Focus on changing systems and structures that create poverty, rather than just providing temporary relief. Pillar 3, amplify voices rather than replacing them. Help poor and marginalized people speak for themselves rather than speaking for them. But implementing these principles required exposing powerful interests that profited from the existing system. This is where Diana's platform and Mother Teresa's moral authority became crucial. Their breakthrough came in 1993, when Diana made her second secret visit to Calcutta. This time, Mother Teresa took her to see something few outsiders had ever witnessed: the actual operations of several major international aid organizations working in the region. What they discovered shocked even Diana, who thought she understood how corrupt systems could be. They found aid organizations that were selling supplies on black markets, medical programs that provided expired or useless medications to maintain the appearance of helping while making sure patients stayed sick, and educational programs that were designed to fail so that funding would continue forever. We spent 3 days documenting what we saw, Diana wrote in her journal. Mother Teresa knew about some of it, but seeing it through my eyes, someone familiar with how these organizations presented themselves to wealthy donors, helped her understand the full scope of the deception. They also discovered something even more disturbing. Several major pharmaceutical companies were using Mother Teresa's facilities as testing grounds for experimental drugs without proper informed consent from patients or even Mother Teresa's knowledge. Companies would donate medicine that was actually experimental treatments, Sister Luke revealed years later. They were using our dying patients as test subjects, and when Mother Teresa found out, she was absolutely furious. This discovery led Diana and Mother Teresa to develop their most ambitious plan, a coordinated exposure of the poverty industrial complex that would simultaneously reveal the corruption while offering alternative models for genuine aid. They spent months planning what they called the Truth Campaign. Diana would use her platform to expose specific corrupt practices, while Mother Teresa would demonstrate alternative approaches that actually empowered rather than exploited the poor. The campaign began subtly in 1994. Diana started asking pointed questions during her official charity visits, challenging organizations about their administrative costs, their long-term goals, and their relationships with corporate donors. Meanwhile, Mother Teresa began speaking more directly about the need for systemic change rather than just charitable sympathy. Their most dramatic collaboration came in February 1995, when Diana made her first official visit to Calcutta. The public saw a princess meeting a saint, but what actually happened was the culmination of 5 years of planning. During the visit, Diana and Mother Teresa held a joint press conference that seemed routine, but was actually carefully choreographed to expose several specific corrupt practices. Their seemingly spontaneous questions and responses revealed damaging information about aid organizations that had been stealing from both donors and recipients. Mother Teresa would make a statement about the need for honest service, remembered BBC correspondent Mark Tully. who covered the visit. Then Diana would ask a seemingly innocent question that would force local aid officials to admit uncomfortable truths about their operations. The press conference revealed that several prominent aid organizations had been diverting up to 80% of donated funds to administrative costs, that medical supplies intended for the poor were being sold to private clinics, and that educational programs were deliberately designed to maintain illiteracy so funding would continue. But the most explosive revelation came when Diana asked Mother Teresa about the responsibility of wealthy nations to address the causes of poverty rather than just profiting from its symptoms. Mother Teresa's response was devastating. "Princess, when I see poor people getting sicker while medicine companies get richer, when I see children staying hungry while food programs expand their budgets, when I see families staying homeless while housing charities build bigger offices, I have to ask, who is really being served?" This statement, coming from one of the world's most respected moral authorities, sent shockwaves through the international aid community. Donations to several major organizations dropped dramatically as donors began demanding accountability. But Diana and Mother Teresa weren't satisfied with just exposing corruption. The second phase of their plan was to demonstrate alternative approaches that actually worked. Over the next year, they quietly established what they called direct impact networks, systems for connecting wealthy donors directly with specific poor families, bypassing all middleman organizations.